Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to quarantine workout number 33. So we're going to get started with our general warm-up, as I'm sure you're used to, and then we're going to go into 10 and 10. Now for the 10 and 10, we're not going to do a push-up. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of combine the in and out with the Sherpa climber, and we're going to string them together. So it's going to look like this. It's really focused on the hips, getting a dynamic stretch through the hips and some dynamic stability through the core. So we're going to walk out, then you're going to jump in, and make sure you plant your feet here, right? Then you're going to jump one foot back, then back in, then the other foot back, then back in, then jump back, then walk back. So when you see that at speed, it's going to look like this. And when I get through that breathing rhythm, what I want is an inhale on the jump in and an exhale on the landing. And I'm going to alternate the leg that I step up with first each time. So you see the first one, the demo, I did the left, then I did the right. Then I'm going to come back up, go left back first again. And you go through 10 of those to get into a nice rhythm while you're doing that. After that, of course, you've got your corrective squats, and your hips should already be feeling nice and warm. After that, we're going to get into the Stability Plus circuit. There's a lot of elements involved in that one, so I'm not going to get into them all. You know, you're starting off from the bottom down here, and with the cat and the cow, and then la-di-da-di-da. There's a lot of other stuff. You can go check that out down there. Okay. After that, we will start our first circuit. For the first circuit, we're going to do a move. I'm not too proud to admit I stole this move from Instagram. There was some lady who was very clearly a fitness model, and I saw the move and I was like, that's kind of crazy. I don't know why I didn't think of it. So we talked about doing clamshells before, and you know, clamshell's a great move for turning on the glutes, particularly the medial glute and the piriformis, which is a deeper muscle. It's not actually part of the glute, but it's involved with hip abduction. And if you don't have a band, you can't really do that clamshell. This is basically, it's genius really. So it's a clamshell, but it's a lift. So it's like you're raising you're doing like a hip raise, but it's from a clamshell position. So it's a clam raise. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go from my elbow, and then I'm going to bring my knees apart and abduct the hips, and the feet are not going to touch on this one. So that's, in that way, it's different than a clamshell. I'm not keeping the heels touching, but I'm going to push down through the knee and come up this way, and then lower myself back down. So the arm up, down, wherever, it doesn't really matter. Just you're going to kind of use it to balance, and you're going to go 10 on one side, and switch sides, and you're going to go 10 on the other side. It's kind of a cool move. It's pretty challenging. And once you get up into those 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're going to start to feel that burn, and you'll know that it's working. From there, flip it over, and we'll fire up the hip flexors a little bit. Just 20 mountain climbers. Nice and fast. Get that 20 going. Then you got your I shouldn't have stood up. I should have stayed on the ground. Then you got your 2-point push-up. So you finish your mountain climber, go right into the 2-point push-up. Get a little stability at the top there. You don't want to come up and feel like you're falling, right? You want to come up and just hang for a second. Just enough to know that you're in control. Once you finish that, you got your 5-position row with a TRX, or you can use a home rig system, and you'll be back. The 5-position row, once again, bicep curl, palm up row, palm in row, palm down row, elbows go out to the side on that one, and then goal post. So palm, and then the goal post. So I'm driving back on the row, and on the goal post, I'm driving back to 90 and then rotating the rest of the way. So you're going to go through that. And I always take a second on that 5th rep, that goal post. I hold that for a sec, squeeze down, and then get into the next round. That's kind of where I take a second just to like get a breath and then go right back into the row. Once you get into higher reps of these, you start feeling it a lot in your grip and your forearms. And coming over to that goalpost, just a second to not be pulling on something for a second. Reset, and then right into the next set. You're only going through 4 rounds of that, so it's a total of 20 reps. Okay, so once you finish with circuit number 1, you go to circuit number 3. I was just checking to see if you're paying attention. Of course, circuit number 2 comes after circuit number 1. What else would come after circuit number 1? Circuit number 2, we're going to go through 5 times as well. Going to start on the ground with your kettlebell, or whatever weight that you happen to have, and you've got close press with flutter, going 30 reps. Remember, that flutter kick is a 6-beat kick, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to go for 30 reps there, so the reps are kind of high. From there, going back to your TRX. And we've got 20 archer push-ups. Remember these ones? Always keeping the elbow behind the hand, right? So it's a push, and then this arm, that elbow stays behind the hand. I don't want to straighten that arm out, right? I'm always just bringing the elbow back. And what you want to think about is if you're looking at it from the side, I know I've said this before, if you're looking at it from the side and you open up, you want the elbow to be slightly behind the shoulder and the hand and the elbow to be lined up. Or the hand and the shoulder to be lined up and the elbow slightly behind. So you draw a straight line between your shoulders through to the hand, and the elbow should be slightly behind that line, but the shoulders and the hand on that line. I hope that wasn't, I hope I didn't make you more confused. I know I got confused for a second there in the middle. So you've got your archer push-ups, 20 reps of those. After that, going back down to the ground, dying angels, I'm sure you remember these, and figure out the breath here while you're doing it. So down to the side, it's kind of like you're doing a jumping jack lying on the ground or a snow angel lying on your stomach. So you're up here, lift, articulate, lower, lift, articulate, lower, always in, and then out, then in, then out. So you're holding your breath through the articulation phase, exhaling on the lower, inhaling on the raise, hold through the articulation, exhale on the lower in each direction. And 1 rep of those is when you go up, stop, then return to your original position. That's 1 rep. So you're lifting and lowering twice for every rep. After you finish that, you've got core 360 to finish it up. And I got a slightly different setup today, so I'm closer to the wall. And I know every single time when I shift back, I hit the wall. So let's see if I can set myself up in a position where I don't do that today. So I'm gonna, since I'm set up closer to the wall, I'm gonna walk out further from the wall, shift back, and there we go. Definitely more difficult. Shift to the side, and then you got, and see I'm too close on this one though. And then I'm getting my gymnastics side plank dip, switch to the other side, and then of course onto the back. Make sure that your plantar flexing here, and again, look at where the strap is. It's closer to the ball of my foot, in between my laces. Let's not hit the head on the kettlebell. And then, so you can see in this setup, these straps are a little close to the floor. Probably I'd like to bring them up a little bit higher for this, but even with the straps close to the floor, I'm still able to get the range of motion through the body. I still want to get the hips extended, right? It doesn't matter if I were to set the band higher, but I wasn't getting my hips in front of the line. If you draw a line from the heels to the shoulders, if I'm not getting my hips in front of that line, it doesn't matter how high up the band is, right? It's about getting that range of motion that you need for your back kick, so that you can load up your core. So make sure, regardless, and yeah, this is too low. I get it. I already feel bad about it. Don't make me feel worse. It doesn't matter if this is a little bit too low in the sense that I still need to get my hips up. Now, if this is up a little bit higher, that's just gonna increase the amount that my hips need to move until I get to this neutral position, but then I still gotta really squeeze the glutes, squeeze the back, keep the hamstrings strong, bring it back. Now notice I didn't say squeeze the hamstrings as in contract the hamstrings, because I don't want to bend my knee. If I contract my hamstrings, I'm bending my knee, right? There's only one muscle in the hamstring that crosses over the hip. That's the one that I'm using. It connects the knee to the hip. I'm using that one, but I'm not contracting my hamstrings to bend the knee. I don't want to do that. I want to keep the knee straight and focus on keeping tension between the hip and the part on the bottom of the foot that's connected to the band. All right, so that's a lot about the dolphin soup, that last move, the dolphin soup. That's my favorite one. Anyways, have fun with that. 5 rounds. See you later.